Working. Now I just need to make sure YouTube chat appears in OBS, and we should be all good to pick up where we left off. There we go. All right, cool. So where we left off, according to the notes I left for myself at about 2 hours ago, we need to do some additional modeling for the coffee machines and stuff like that. But before we do any of that, we had an issue with painting the coffee liquid itself, right? And originally I was just going to throw my hands up in the air and say, well, we can code it to be different materials, right? And then we'll just make all these different colored materials to make it stand out, right? Well, turns out Blender was just having issues because after doing some research and some testing, I must have done something wrong when modeling that stuff for me to not be able to paint on the actual physical models. Because if I have this new file here, right? Go to import, FBX, and I pull up that coffee liquid, right? Click on it once, go to edit mode, go to texture paint, and then instead of using the material that it comes with, hit this plus base color, and then just start. It works now. I don't know what I was doing wrong. I don't know why it suddenly works, but suddenly it works. So we can now actually just start painting whatever we want for the coffee liquid. The first thing we're going to need to do, though, is this is the UV editor right here on the left. You can see that it's kind of jank. We don't want it to be jank. We want it to be somewhat organized so that way we can have an easier time drawing it. So, or drawing on it, I should say. What we're going to do, well, I mean, we could also just draw on here. So I think we'll do that. But regardless, we can now actually texture paint onto the model here. So that's what we're going to do. So first off, yeah, we'll use this one. I need to look up some reference images for the different kind of coffee recipes we got going on. Because I'd like, it's not going to be realistic, right? This is a very arcadey-ish, low poly looking style game. You know, we're not going to have liquid physics. But I would like to at least have like, at a glance, someone be able to say, oh yeah, that's this flavor of coffee or something like that, right? I was going to brew a cup of coffee for myself, and maybe I could have looked at that, but we can do that later. For now, we're going to use this reference image here. So something I see in this image is that the center of the coffee is extremely dark and the outer rim is a little more of a lighter color. I think we're going to use that for this texture. So we'll close that and we'll start painting like that. So the first thing we need to do is we need to identify a brownish color. Like I need a real deep brown. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so does this have a tool for just kind of like dumping it? Yeah, there we go. That was not the color I had. What happened to the color I had? Is there a way I can save the color? I don't know if there's a way to save the color, but I would like to have that option. What if I just do that, right? Then when I go to the bucket, That looks like a different color. That's still not the same color. This is tough. So what if I paint it on here? Oh, we could just paint it faster this way. So let's do that. There we go. That's our dark copy right there. Now what we need to do is we need to just kind of take the outer rims, make it a lighter color. So that's what we'll do now. I think we can easily just cheat this by just doing a little upper like that. And then just to make things a little easier for myself, I'm going to have the UV editor highlight the vertices I want. Okay, for some reason these vertices are all over the place. Okay, so this is everything. So we'll take these, put it over here. Perfect. Okay, so now we can go back to our image editor. Go back to texture paint. And then just to make sure we don't paint the sides, I'm going to, what's the tool for this? There's a way to, nope. What's the hotkey? Nope. Is it shift click? No, it's not. Nope. Nope. There's a key to hold to change the size of your material. That's okay. We can just change it down here. Change it to 10. Yeah, that's a decent size. Then we'll just it doesn't need to be smooth. It just needs to capture that rounded edge of the coffee cup look I'm going for here. And somehow the paint is not spreading. Oh, okay. That's tough. Go like that. Okay, there's something with the UV that's going really odd here. I guess it doesn't really matter. What kind of does? This is frustrating. This should have been easy. Yeah, we don't want that. Does that do it? Kinda. I think we need to do something different. Let's grab this. It's not highlighting any other vertices, so that's good. Go to our UV editor. Let's see if that lets us paint better. So far, so good. There we go. Cool. So now, just to test this. Nope. Material preview. What's going on here? Is that it? Nope. Texture paints. Save as. Is there a reason this is still not taking a texture? Is the material wrong? Image texture. There we go. So now, if we get a point light, that's coffee. All right, drop that point light, grab this, FBX. Copy that with the textures on. There's no animation. Exports. So now ideally, That's not the right model. My bad. This one. There's our texture. That's a good start. And look at that. It's on the model. It's not perfect. We missed a little spot there. But that's coffee. That's our coffee. Cool, cool, cool. So now we can get rid of this material here. Not this one. Not this one. This one. Oh, shoot. It's in coffee parent. Okay. So if we go here. Black coffee liquid. Yeah, looks fine to me. That's our black coffee. So probably the next thing we would want to do after we model a lot of stuff is maybe add a particle effect to have this kind of steam up when it's hot coffee. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with it. We can get rid of these materials here. Maybe more so these ones. Maybe just these ones. I might have done something wrong. Let's do this. Get rid of those. What material are you using? 001? We'll just re-import it. Look at that. Problem solved. Alright, now to do the same thing, but for another coffee recipe. Let's try vanilla coffee. There's a lot of really cool vanilla coffee recipes that come up when you just search vanilla coffee. We'll go with what most people are probably familiar with when it comes to vanilla coffee. So if I open this image in a new tab. So here's what we're going to do for vanilla coffee. It's very, very light. And excuse me. So sorry. Wow, that sneeze just soft locked my brain for a second. Anyway. You can see here that it's more of a light color, got a little creamy look to it. So that's what we're gonna do next. So just to make sure we repeat our successes here, base color, see if we can't find that creamy color. Ooh, does it let me do off screen? From the Blender window. Ah, dang. I was hoping it would let me do outside of it. Can we make it brighter? That's pretty close. We'll do that. And then I don't think we need to do anything more. That's pretty much what French vanilla coffee looks like without ice. Or not French vanilla, but just vanilla coffee. What if I do vanilla coffee hot? What comes up with that? It's got some like white foam at the top. I think we can do that. I don't think there's an issue adding that. Let's do that. So let's grab some white. And then we're not going to get too deep with it. We're just going to add like a little bit of like a, whoops, that is not white. RGB values, set that all to 1. That's still not white. What's going on with that? It's just issue after issue, isn't it? Let's go to image editor, see what that does. Same stuff. Why are you doing this to me? Oh, is it because I did mix? Do I want to do something different? Okay, that doesn't do what I need it to do either. Color. No. Nope. This is turning into very interesting stuff. Lighten? Nope. Nope. Maybe it'd be better if I just save this texture and then edit it in Krita Vanilla Coffee. The issue being I will lose the UV mapping if I do that, actually. What can I do? Alright, I think I just broke it again. So, if I turn this back, yep, that fixes it. I mean, like I said, this could be fine. Having white on top would be nice, but this isn't a bad option either. So now we just go down to here. There we go. Then we'll just export this. We'll call it Vanilla Coffee Liquid. Import this to Unreal. That sure does not look like what I asked it to be. It's probably because it's technically using the same material, but not the same texture. So what if I do that, and then where's the texture? We'll just duplicate this, call it Vanilla Coffee Material. Unreal. Thank you. There we go. All right, what's the next one? We need to do chocolate and or mocha. So let's call it mocha coffee. Drink some water. Oh, this is going to be interesting. There's a lot of different interpretations of mocha coffee. The image of vanilla coffee we used as a reference came back up in the search results. I think we can use this image for our reference. We won't do the foam, but it is a kind of like a in-between between the black coffee texture we made and the vanilla coffee texture we made. So we'll just do that. We'll make an in-between color. So we'll need to go to texture paint. We'll call it mocha material. And then what we'll do is copy that and then just darken it a little bit. There we go. It's a minor difference, but minor differences can mean a lot sometimes. So, image, save. Go to here. That sure didn't look like it changed. There we go. File exports. Mocha coffee liquid. Looks like the mocha coffee also didn't import correctly. So what we'll do is just the same thing we did here. Duplicate mocha coffee material. Mocha material. There we go. Now you can see the difference. What's next? I think I said we were going to hold off on espresso, but let's check the recipe enumeration I made. Espresso coffee. Okay, so I guess espresso is on the list. Espresso. So that's weird. So some of the images I'm seeing are like bright, like chocolate coffee, like mocha coffee. And some of them are dark, like deeper than black coffee. I think we'll just make it like pitch black. I mean, it is supposed to be like a more caffeinated version of coffee, so it kind of tracks. So let's go to here. Let's just be ridiculous about it. Espresso. Yeah. Looks crazy, but we can totally do that. Go back here. FBX. Espresso. Coffee. Liquid. Then all we need to do is drop this in here. And then grab the texture. Espresso material. Espresso coffee, espresso material. Huh? Oh, I see what I did wrong. Black coffee goes to here. Espresso coffee goes here. There we go. Man. Milk coffee. This one should be pretty straightforward, but let's see what the image results come up with. A boba cup came up as a result. So I think what we can do for this one is vanilla is already pretty like yellowy creamy. I think with milk we'll make it more white creamy. So if we go here, base material, let's get a really light color going. And then we'll just paint some white across the top here. That is not white. I forgot we can't really do that easily. Excuse me. I think maybe this is fine, actually. I'd like it to be more different, but we can make it work. Hold on. Base color. It's not good. What else can we do? What if, hear me out, base color is just default white. And then we just find our brownish color that we're looking for. Just paint on the edges here. It kind of works. And then we can just paint the rest like this. Fill it in there, and then we'll just drop the radius down just a little bit. So we can do little bits of coffee peeking in through the milk. Save that. Grab that milk coffee. And ta-da! It's decent. It's decent. Excuse me. Let's go back to those enumerations real quick. Okay, the only ingredient that I don't want to draw textures for, per se, is ice. I don't think drawing ice textures on top of our models will do much. So I think what we'll do instead is we'll draw some We'll just take the basic cube from Blender, multiply it maybe once or twice, and just have the ice float on top of these. And we'll just give them a low alpha so that way you can see through them. So let's make a new file. Delete these. And then just to make sure this will look good no matter what coffee liquid we're doing, it doesn't matter which one I grab, I'm just being picky. Here we go. So there's our coffee. So the first thing we're going to want to do is Smart UV Project. base color, we'll give it like a light green, light blue, sorry, not green. And then we'll just use some white to kind of give it some little bit of shine on the corners and such. Put a bigger one here. Oh, why are you putting seams there? Are those seams showing up? Not really. Huh. Just must be a quirk of the UV editor here. And then we'll just do like a little there, little there, little there. That sure is ice. Ice texture. Tick mode, and then what we'll do is we'll just shrink this down. A little bit smaller than that. Then we'll rotate it just a little bit. We'll put one there. Whoops. Put one there. Yeah, that's ice. So now all we need to do is go to layouts. Make sure those ice textures are applied. Export FBX. And then hopefully this should export as like one, no it won't, because if we wanted to do that, we would do this. And then we would export it. Call it ice. So if we did everything right, oops. Material underscore 003. There we go. There's our ice. So now, if we go to coffee parent, let's set the coffee real quick as something default. And then we'll just add another static texture here. We'll call it ice. And then what I want to do next is, I said I want them to be kind of see-through, so that way the color of the coffee kind of shines through. I have an idea on how this works. I don't know if it's the right way to do it, but we can certainly try it. Opacity. Don't think that does anything. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. Opacity. Yeah, not quite. What if I go to the texture? Don't think that's doing what I was hoping it was doing. Or what I hoped it was going to do. Not quite. It's fine. We don't need to get that beautiful. Especially since we can do that in the polishing phase. What matters is we have a way to add ice. Oh, I shouldn't have closed that parent, because what I want to do is essentially just ask if any of the values were ice. So there's a way to do this. There's a way to do this. Let's do function. Ice. Let's rename this. Check for ice. We'll make a new boolean called iced. So what we're going to do is I spelled branch wrong. Excuse me. Maybe I should have taken a nap during that lunch break. So what we need to check is milk, espresso. Oh, did we not even check for ice? Oh, ice is right here. Here we go. If any of the values are equal to 6. Which we could probably do this an easy way. Oh man, maybe I really should have taken that nap. Anyway, how do I want to do this? Let's drag these out. And then do set ingredient 1. Set ingredient 2. And set ingredient 3. This is going to be an ugly series of things, but so first off, is this ingredient equal to 6? Branch. Put these up here. Ingredient 2, ingredient 3. If it's false, do nothing. If it's true, set visibility, new visibility. In the interim, it is invisible. Excuse me. So let's test that. We are on the day shift level, okay? Can't see the ice. Can I do this? Will that help it? Not quite. Oh, we also didn't even check for ice, for realsies. Delay. Check for ice. There's the ice. Now if we don't do ice, there's no ice. Okay. And then if I remember correctly, yeah, everything requires coffee beans. So what we should also do is create a function for checking for coffee. So check for coffee. We can literally just rip all this. And just check if each one of these is 1. And then at the end here, shoot, my brain is slowing down. We'll say, is it bad coffee? Set it to true. Let's grab all this and just move it to the side here. Branch. Check for coffee. We should make a bad coffee texture. I'm not worried about editing the ice again, so we can just do open recent, coffee liquid. What would bad coffee look like? I mean, I guess it also just depends on like what you're looking at, right? Or what ingredients are in it, I should say. So if we go back to our enumeration here, I want it to look really awful. How do we do that? I see some latte art. I'll put it up on screen. I kind of want to do this, or some variant of it. Like, just, this is not good for you. You don't want this. I think that's what we'll do. Let me grab the old coffee texture, and then we'll work through that. So let's go here. Here we go. Texture paint. Let's do white. Let me look up a better image of a cartoon skull. Let's make this upright. Do a little bit of that. Get the eyeballs going. And then we'll put some crossbones underneath. And then we'll fill this in a little bit. Oh, this is actually tough. Can I undo the... Here we go. So what we'll do actually is we'll fill... Whoops. It doesn't let you fill in shapes. That stuff. We'll make it work. Or just do this in advance. There we go. Got something going on. Let's increase this a little bit. Then we can leave a little bit of gaps in the color because liquid is never perfect. That looks pretty great. That looks pretty great. Okay. And then the crossbones, we're gonna have to be kind of careful. I think we'll just draw it underneath it. So we'll do that. We can do better. We can do so much better. Let's just do the pirate thing, where they just kind of draw the bones sticking out from the top of the head. Like that. And just fill it in. You know what? I think the skull's enough, actually. It's fine. This is actually like pretty cute as is, as a fail state. So we'll just do that. So first of all, we need to save this texture. Oh shoot, I saved it on top of an existing texture. Unreal, you didn't pick that up, right? Okay, cool. So all we need to do is just did it save that texture? I don't think it did. Let's just do save as, just in case. Call it bad coffee. Export FBX. Bad coffee. Okay, it didn't import the texture. I'm also not seeing the bad coffee texture, though. Oh, because I didn't save it in the right place. That explains a lot. Why is it saying static mesh? Just in case. I'm not finding the texture file for this all of a sudden. That's kind of worrying. Did I not export this correctly? I did not. That's my issue. Go back to Unreal. Why? Suddenly not letting me import my textures now. Oh, hold on. Nope, still having issues. Alright, here's what we'll do. We'll save, and we'll reboot Unreal. See if that fixes the issue. Gives me a chance to rehydrate too. We don't need Steam VR. Alright, let's try re-importing that bad coffee. So there's the bad coffee. And you're still saying that's a static mesh when that's a PNG file. That's not good. Yep, I don't know what's going on. It's just not letting me import that material. Well, best not to get stuck on it. In the interim, we can just make like a placeholder material. Yeah. For the bad coffee, well, you just use the placeholder material, which is the cups material. I don't know what that is. We'll get rid of it. Cool. So now let's go back to the coffee parent here. Let's check for coffee. Is it bad coffee? If true, material underscore 001. Alright, let's just see if that works. Wrong level. So if I just do ice, I get an ice beverage with a white texture. Nice. Yep. Cool. Next model we want to do is the coffee machine. I'm going to want the widget open for this. We need a coffee machine with 6 buttons. Put in an upside down pyramid formation with a spot to hold the stuff. Oh, thank you, Splinter XR20 for the follow. Alright, coffee machine. How do we want to do this? Let's look at reference images for a coffee machine. Respectless. Thank you so much. Because you use Unreal. Unreal is just what I've interfaced with the most. I tried to learn Unity when I was in high school, but I was an impatient brat. So I learned Unreal because it uses blueprints. Appreciate the visit, though. Thanks for dropping in. All right, let's look up generic coffee machines, see what we can come up with. Half L for blueprints, though? That's totally fair, man. I didn't really do well in my coding classes in university, so I never really got any real coding training there. But blueprints lets me make stuff when I want to try it, so it's fun. Let's see. I think I might just have to make a fictional machine. Oh, here we go. I want to grab this image. So this coffee machine here has a touchscreen, but we don't need a touchscreen. We can just change this to look like our button layout we have here. Just put physical buttons. So I think we'll start with modeling that. Or I could leave it as a touchscreen, and just that way I can modify these buttons anytime I want without having to worry about matching physical layouts. Blueprints get so bad when you're making a complex thing like an MMO. I imagine so. Luckily, I'm not making an MMO. It's a little bit above my skill level, unfortunately. And also, I'm just not a big fan of MMOs, so it's fine. Making small games is what I'm trying to do anyway. Alright, so yeah, let's work on something like this. Yeah. So let's open up Blender. Make a new file. Oh yeah, time for the meme. Delete everything, including the cube. Add the cube. There we go. Alright, so just for my reference sake, I want to import the cup that we made. There's the cup. What was that texturing? Oh, so the premise for this game is that you serve coffee during the day and fight monsters to get the ingredients at night. And I just needed something to represent bad coffee, and I'm working on a 10-day game jam, so I don't have a lot of time to make something nice currently. If I have time towards the end, I'll make something nicer, but otherwise, yeah, things are gonna look kind of silly until I can do better. Such a kawaii game concept. Yeah, it is, but I kind of want to play a game like that, so this kind of makes sense. I'm working with a buddy of mine. I asked him to do kind of like the design work, just basically just talk about what kind of game he would like to play if he could make a game, and then we talked through the mechanics based on my current skill level in programming, and we wrote a design document for this concept. But yeah, he was like, yeah, no, a coffee shop where you hunt monsters at night and serve them during the day. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. All right, let's do this. We'll grab these 4 vertices here. Then, actually, go back, raise this just a little bit. Whoops. Grab those. Your game ideas are typically dark. What kind of games do you develop, Splinter? I'm curious. Let's bring this down just a little bit. Then we'll grab this. Extrude that this way. Corpse disposal simulator. Yeah, that's pretty dark. I'll give you that. That is pretty dark. Let's make the machine a little bit bigger. And then grab these bits here. Subdivide, and we'll connect these here. Grab them, go up here like this. Then we'll grab it like this. That is pretty high up, isn't it? Let's see if we can't fix that. Oh, Splinter, are you participating in the VTuber Tiny Jam, or are you just popping in to chill out for a little bit? Subdivide here. No game jam. Just hanging out. Maybe doing some solo dev whenever you get the time. Squeeze it down like that. That looks kind of decent. Do that. Alright, now we need to have the interface up here. I think what we'll do to make this work is we'll just bring this down. Like so. Did I need to do that? Yes, because I want to do this. You use sub D in your stuff? Subdivide? Yeah. I'm still kind of coming to grips with Blender. I've been practicing it on and off for years. And so what I do is basically just habits from following tutorials and guides on how to get with Blender. No subdivide modifier. Uh, every time I try to use one of those modifiers other than mirror, I usually end up trying to fix how I did it wrong for the next half hour, and I'm trying not to get stuck on that kind of stuff for this moment. So, you know, I'll get better with it as I do more of these game development challenges and stuff like that. But for now, I'm just trying to make a finished game for once. That's called not being a pro in Blender. I mean, yeah, I'm an amateur. I barely do any programming, period. I've only just started taking game development more seriously this year for the sake of living out one of my dreams as a kid. So let's do wireframe. We'll just raise this up a little bit more. That should be big enough for the interface, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons there. Yeah, I don't think I want to do anything too fancy with this, so we'll just... Oh, I guess, you know what I could do? I'm sure Kid Me would want to make a game like Midnight Club, LA Remix. Kid Me wanted to make Call of Duty clone because I was so annoyed with the state of Call of Duty back then. Nowadays, I don't even play Call of Duty, so it doesn't matter anymore. Midnight Club would be kind of cool to see though, because like we don't have good arcade racing games as often anymore. We'll put the interface here, and then just extrude it out just a little bit. There we go. That'll be our display panel. Cool. Now the question is, how do I want to texture this? Let's save this blend file in case I mess up. Coffee machine. We have indie ones like Night Runners. That's true. We do have good, some decent indie racers coming out here and there. Coffee machine. Yeah. And then we'll just do this. Edit. Smart UV project. Or did it already do that? Card games are like mechas from the early 2000s. It's dying. Yeah, it is. I think part of it is that there's actually a really good video about it from a YouTube channel called Racevic. From the outside looking in, it doesn't look like racing games, in the AAA space at least, have evolved in the past like 20 years, since they use the same, more or less the same cars on the same tracks all the time. We just need more games like Split Second and older Need for Speed. That's my silly opinion, though. Let's see. most coffee machines have like a black design, so maybe we'll do that on one side here. So where's this? Okay, cool. So we can just paint in there.
Greetings, friend.
Just
You here? You just went AFK.
Nope, that's not the same color. Okay. There we go. Clean that up. I'm wondering where this is. Ah, I see. You have a favorite car? I wouldn't say I have a favorite car so much as there are groups of cars that I do like seeing in racers. If we're talking like cars that are like available for normal people to drive, like the Mustang and stuff. Oh, we have a guest here, and he can't hear me. Oh, I know why. Hold on. Voice and video. I also can't hear him. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There we go. My bad. I forgot that, you know how I was playing VR yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to change the microphone settings back.
Whoops.
So that's on me.
Yeah, look on you. You're not streaming on YouTube, I don't think either.
It says I am.
I will double check.
Yeah, it still says I am.
Huh? Because I checked like an hour ago and it says you weren't.
Oh, because I did take a break. I did take a break.
Oh.
Also, I forgot to turn you back down to normal volume, so you're blasting my eardrums right now. Try again?
Trying again.
All right, that's good enough.
Oh my god.
You know how I told you before the jam that I'm mostly doing this to just kind of like improve my game development skills? Truer words have not been said until today. Because I had issues painting 3D models for some reason. I couldn't do it. And so I took a lunch break, an extended lunch break, in fact. I was going to originally come back at after 30 minutes. I came back after an hour. And it turns out I had just hit a button wrong in my 3D modeling software at some point, and that completely screwed up my ability to paint models for a while. But problem solved. I'm now painting a coffee machine. Let's see. Do I want to paint above as well? Yeah, might as well. Let's just use black on everything that I want to use black on, just to block it out. So what are you up to, May11?
I'm playing Path. Surprise, surprise.
Oh. I usually texture with pixelated images of real stuff, then sketch a UV map over it. I thought about doing that at one point. Um, I just don't know if I have the photography skills to make it make sense. But it is something I definitely want to explore at someday because I know that that's what a lot of indie devs have been doing for some of their games, and it comes out really nice if you do it correctly. Keyword being do it correctly, because I've also seen. I mean, if you go on Steam, you can probably like sort by new and find a game that uses bad image textures. Okay, I think for this portion here. I'm guessing you stole your VTuber model, right? Stole. What do you mean stole?
Oh,
No, I just use V2. It's not VTube Studio. VRoid Studio. Um, I used some of the base hair models. I drew the. Hold on, I can pull my model up a little higher. If my software will let me. No, it won't. Okay. But this apron I drew onto one of the shirt models that they have in the VRoid clothing editor. Um, and I also painted the color of the shirt itself a different color just to make it more what I was looking for. I can tell you drew that. Yeah, with a mouse no less. I have a drawing pad. I use it from time to time. I don't use it when I should be using it, and that's my issue. I could plug it in right now too, but it's on the other side of the room, and I don't want to get up right this second. Especially since like the quality of the texture is not like a priority of mine. I just want to get the idea across, and then from there, put it in the game and get the functionality up and running. You mean you only play Osu on that pad? I haven't played Osu. I probably should someday because I do like rhythm games like DDR and what's the taiko drum game called? It's like It's a really long name, but it's in Japan. They have a Steam release and a Switch release now in the West, which is pretty cool. But yeah, no, I use it to draw on Krita sometimes, but not often enough. I'm really a drawing person. I just draw because I wish I was good at it.
I like drawing. I need to practice more. I have terrible focus.
I mean, you're a path player.
That don't mean anything.
No, it doesn't. After all, the developers of Path draw all the time.
Just traded with someone named Krusty Cheese Curds.
That sure is a name.
Very much a name.
There we go. Been using Blender for 5 years now. Never thought of using the goofy brush texturing. It's one of the first things a tutorial I watched told me to do, so I just do it this way. Doesn't seem to hurt too much. clear this up. Looks decent enough. Seems to be a gap somewhere up here. Yep. And we'll just do lines here. That tutorial dude was an imposter. I bet he never uses this either. I mean, it's helping me, so if he doesn't use it, I'm not going to feel like I got scammed. Everything is a tool. It's all about how you use it. I mean, for example, like, there are some pretty incredible games on Click Team Fusion and Game Maker. So, if people are able to make good games on software like that, you can make good games on anything. And good textures using whatever tool Blender has in its box. I was forgetting something. Paint it down this way. Oh yeah, John. I told my family before the game jam that I was going to be occupied for a week and a half for the game jam.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't ask what kind of game I was making, so they were like, "Oh, that's cool. Show us when you're done with it. We're looking forward to what you make." I get a text from my little brother first thing in the morning. He goes, "Hey man, how is it going?" And I was like, "Oh, it's going pretty good. I implemented the shooting mechanics, the enemy AI. It's basic, but it's there. And I also got done with the skeleton of the coffee mechanics." And he goes, "Wait, coffee mechanics? What are you talking about?"
Oh no.
So I ended up telling him about the premise, and he goes, "Yo, that actually sounds pretty cool. Let me know when you're done with that." I'm like, "Well, we'll do."
Actually, I just need intelligence now because that says Dex.
Cross here, cross here. You're stretching the word good games too thin. Undertale was made in Game Maker, bro. I don't know what else to say to that. I mean, at the end of the day, a good game gives you an experience that you want to remember or relive. That's my definition of a good game. A bad game makes you want to put the controller down and never touch it again. Undertale is pretty bad. I mean, if you have that opinion, that's fine. I personally enjoyed my time with it. And I think that the fact that it leans on choice is a huge aspect of my enjoyment for it. But I'm also a closet fan of JRPGs, so whenever a decent one comes out and I get a chance to play it, it's like, oh hell yeah, more please.
More.
More. For example, I still need to finish playing Blue Reflection. Like, I got through the first couple chapters, was blown away by the quality, and then I think Earth Defense Force 6 came out, and I haven't looked back. I'll get to it one day, I swear. It got visuals that are interesting and gameplay that's trash. I mean, I won't defend the pixel art, but the fact that it was all done by one guy and it came out looking as good as that, I think that's pretty amazing. And I mean, I like the gameplay. But then again, I'm more open to play games that are outside my comfort zone when enough buzz is made about them. I had a friend sit with me throughout the my first playthrough of Undertale, so that also contributed to my enjoyment of it. A good game made by one guy is something like Katana Zero. Katana Zero does look amazing. I haven't played it yet, but it does look amazing. I do want to check that out someday. A little bit of a spillage over here. Where is this coming from? Aha. That's where it's coming from.
Welcome.
Hello, friends.
Why,
Hi,
hello
Zach.
there. How's it
What are we
going?
streaming today?
I am participating in a 10-day long game jam.
Ooh, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I forgot to get you involved with that. Oh, shoot. I'm going to do that right now. Hold on.
We missed you yesterday.
What did you do yesterday?
D&D.
Right, I forgot about that.
It's okay.
Well,
No,
it makes
the only
me feel
person
better.
who showed up was Casey. So
It makes me feel better. I no longer have anything to do on Saturdays, so I can be there now.
Nice, nice, nice.
How many sessions did you guys get in?
2?
done. Since we've gotten one in since the last time you've disappeared.
Okay.
I don't think much happened, right? Like, we still haven't reached the first area.
No, you
No,
you guys have you were at the farm.
Yeah, I remember that. That was the last thing I remember. Were we just doing combat? Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's all you missed out on was combat.
I can be there now.
Nice. Has anyone told you what kind of game I'll be working on for this week?
Told me?
Yeah.
No.
So I tapped to Joe to help come up with the concept for this game.
Nice.
We wrote a design document and everything. The premise is you're running a coffee shop during the day shift, but you can run out of ingredients. So at night, you take a magic gun, go into the pantry, and you hunt monsters for the additional ingredients that you need.
Very cute.
Mm-hmm. I've got the skeleton of all the mechanics done. It's just about implementing the models, animations, and then adding specific code for each type of enemy and coffee. I guess I could paint these edges black, because the touchscreen is the only thing I'm worried about.
Coffee. Green tea.
Coffee.
Coffee zone.
Coffee zone.
Coffee zone.
Here we go. Yeah, this whole game jam has been a great exercise in reminding myself that there's still a lot to learn. Like, I have a lot of really, really, really basic knowledge. And then every time I run into an issue, it's an opportunity to learn some slightly more advanced stuff for game development.
Yeah. That
To-
seems to be the common theme.
Yeah. Today's lesson is if you don't click the buttons in the right order, you won't be able to paint your models.
Say that again?
Today's lesson is if you don't hit the buttons in the right order, you won't be able to paint your 3D models.
I see.
I ran into an issue earlier.
Painting on the right layer.
What's up?
It's like
It's like painting on the right layer. You have to be on the right layer to paint.
Ah, yeah. You're right.
It's my favorite meme. Stop! What? Why? You're on the wrong layer!
Oh, shoot. We got all kinds of color stuff going on here. Oh, I see. That's what I did wrong. Here we go. Clean up the seams. And I think that's all I want to really paint on this model. Yeah. So... save as... coffee machine. Go back to layouts. Zero preview. That looks good. Then make sure we copy the path so we get our textures. Alright. We'll go to Unreal and see if we did it right. Let's organize this a little bit. Liquids. New folder. We'll call this the coffee machine. Hey. Oh, nope, I screwed up something. Alrighty. Alright, how did I screw this up? Let's focus on this area here. Hmm. not seeing that issue in Blender, but I am seeing it in Unreal. What does that mean? Let's do this. We'll take all these vertices here. Yep, including the nozzle. Okay, and now we just need to go back to the UV editor and fix the topology on that. Not topology, what's the word I'm looking for? Just the, I guess fixing the UV. Check this up here.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Okay, let's go back into Unreal real quick. File, Explorer, PX. Yes, very. All right, let's try this again. And I still have the same issue. Okay, let's try this. Then go back to clean this up a little bit. Here we go. Then let's just grab this color. There we go. All right, that's probably as good as I'm going to get for the moment because I just want to make sure this exports correctly. So let's make sure the material is on correctly, the correct texture. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. That's really strange. All right, let's see if I do. Flip normals, maybe? I guess we'll find out. Go back into Unreal. Let's delete those. Hey, that fixed it. Cool. All right.
Yay!
Coffee machine has been successfully imported. Now the question is how to get this to appear with the UI. Oh, I spent way too much time on that. All right, what else do we need to model? We need to model the night shift weapon. We're probably not going to do anything else in Unreal today. I'll just close that. And what we'll do... Steam VR is still trying to run in the background.
Dang.
Alright, let's open Krita. And we'll design our coffee killing machine. If Krita is loading at least. There we go. Let's do A4 horizontal. All right. How to design. We'll start with a general shape. Then we'll go from there. Do it across like that. Get the grip to wrap up like this. Draw the stock like this, maybe. There's some improvement we can do here. Let's do wrong tool. I need to look at actual rifles real quick because I'm like brain melting.
You look at rifles?
Yeah, so the gameplay loop with the night shift is that it's a bolt action rifle, so that way you have to think more methodically despite being able to move relatively quick.
Yeah.
And also night shift ends when you're out of ammo. Like you get transported back to the coffee shop when you run out of ammo.
I see. Okay.
So having a weapon that not only by default encourages a more methodical approach, but also is known for having limited ammo, kind of helps players get into the right mindset when hunting for ingredients.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Okay, that helps a lot. So, based on that image, let's do this.
Speak on.
We'll maintain the general silhouette.
Yeah.
Clean this up here. Hmm. Still get that.
I'm gonna play Minecraft.
Okay.
Let's do this.
I don't have mod privileges, I don't think.
You don't have what?
Mod privileges
Uh,
on your stream.
Probably not. I haven't done much with the moderation stuff.
Yeah. You did, however, block the link that gentleman just tried to post, so.
Yeah, I get those a lot. So
Me too.
I just kind of said like, hey, if it looks like this, please.
If it doesn't have HTTPS or www in the front, then kill it.
Then kill it.
That's the extent of my knowledge anyway.
I just go out of my way and I'll murder them myself.
It's pretty basic, but I'm sure I'll have better ideas on how to make this look good when I'm modeling. Let's save this image.
You said this was a 10-day game jam?
Yes, it started on Friday. It ends on the 29th.
I see.
No concept. Man, I'm just like got no brain power right now. I think I might call it here and then just try and pick up where I left off tomorrow.
Me thinking about the song Brain Power.
There's a song called Brain Power.
I know you've heard it. You just probably don't know it by name.
That's probably true.
Don't do this to me.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Oh
I
no.
remember.
She stopped being a VTuber, and I'm sad.
Oh, Gura?
No, Mume.
Oh, Mume? Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine most of those people stopped being VTubers.
A lot of the Hololive ones actually left to start their own careers as independent.
Mume
Yeah.
stopped because it was actually causing her physical harm.
Oh,
Something with her voice.
I see.
Well, given how much
Sad.
Hololive has them sing, that kind of tracks.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah,
So
I'm gonna
that's
call the stream here. We'll pick up tomorrow. Thanks to everyone who tuned in.